Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvajnaya Namaha. Sarva Shaktimate Namaha. Third one? Huh? Sarva Vyapine Namaha. Vyapin means all pervasive. Who is invoking the all pervasive? No pervasive. Not even small pervasive. I'm barely able to even stay in this body. Forget me inhabiting all bodies. That's the problem. That's why people say I'm spaced out. I'm having an out-of-body experience, all this. So, Sarva Vyapine Namaha. The small pervasive one, barely able to pervade the body, mind, sense complex, is invoking that which is available everywhere at all times. So this is the from the standpoint of the upadhi alone the differences, all of them. Sarva Shaktimate Namaha, Sarvajnaya Namaha, upadhi. All knowing upadhi, small knowing upadhi, all knowing, all present Shakti, small Shakti. All pervasive, small pervasive. When I invoke the all pervasive, the smallness goes away because the small is definitely included in all. And so this is exactly where the puja and the daily discipline of worship talked about in the Shastra as a preparation. Antahkarana Shuddhi. It's a Bahiranga Sadhana. Karma Yoga also. It's a form of walking, talking, working, worship. Karma Yoga is. And so, this way, there is a transcendence. First, there is not a transcendence. First, there is an immersion of the small into the all. And the example given in the Chandogya Upanishad is of a big lump of salt. What do you mean lump of salt? We have to think of Himalayan salt lamp. Okay? That yellow-orange color. And then there is a little lamp you put, and supposedly you put a little tea light in it, and supposedly very healing. All the vapors coming out of it. So think of that. And if you put it in water, this is what Shvetaketu is asked to do. Shvetaketu, studying this Vidya, doesn't know how the small relates to the all. So, one time there is a night class. Yeah. So, in the night, he is asked to come with a Himalayan salt lamp, without the lamp. Okay? And then the father says, the father turned teacher says, put it in this big vat of water. In this drum of water, put it. And then, what happens? Goes away. End of class. Next day comes. And in the morning, the father says, you know what happened to that salt yesterday? Yeah, I'm afraid I need it back. Can you get it, fish it out of me from the water? And Shvetaketu looks in the bottom, looks everywhere. He says, it's gone. Is it really gone? Taste the bottom of the water. So he stirs and tastes. What is it? Salty. Taste the middle of the water. What is it? Salty. Taste the top of the water. What is it? Salty. It's not that the salt has gone. It's just, it's in other words, all pervasive. That which is all pervasive pervades me, pervades this I, which is as though confined to this body, mind, sense complex. If Satchidanandam Brahma Ishvara pervades me, then I am no longer small. So this way, the Nama, Rupa, everything, the Bheda, Pinda and Brahmanda Bheda is erased. How can it be erased? It was never there to begin with. It was there only from the Drishti. From the Drishti it was there. From a particular Drishti means a particular standpoint. It's a point of view. I am small is a point of view. I am not all is a point of view. A point of view we can appreciate when we know the whole view. If we don't know the view, and the point of view becomes view. And then what? Sorrow ensues. That's what. The point of view cannot be mistaken for the view. And this is what the next verse is going to say. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Concluding this whole discussion, the author says, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jagat Mithya. Satyam means that which is crutchless, does not depend on anybody. Technically speaking, Satyam has two definitions. Abadhitam Sat. That which is non-negatable is Sat. No matter how much you try, you cannot negate Sat. How do you know? Try negating yourself. We have already established that you are Sat. Try negating yourself. Keep telling yourself, I am not here, I don't exist, I don't exist. Okay? Then you will know Sat is non-negatable. Why should I do all the work? You do some work also. Then, that is the first definition. And then, the second definition of Sat is Trikalepi Tishtatiti Sat. That which is the same in all three periods of time. Trikala. What does three mean? Three. Okay. Trikalepi Tishtati iti Sat. And so, that which is the same before, now, after, which is unchanging, is Sat. Unchanging and non-negatable, these are the two definitions of Sat. What is the definition of Mithya? Mithya says, if Sat has two definitions, I also want two definitions. I am no less than Sat. Actually, it is true. Mithya is Sat. I also want my own special two definitions. I will not settle for one. Okay. You can have two definitions. What is the first definition of Sat? Mithya? Adhishthana ananyat. What is this adhishthana ananyat? In simple language, non-separate from Sat. Adhishthana means that upon which everything else rests. And itself is, don't say restless, doesn't need any place to rest. Adhishthana ananyat mithya. In other words, wherever you see mithya, there is what? Sat alone. Mithya, if you can direct it properly, if you have the vision very clearly, wherever there is mithya, mithya will automatically lead you to Sat. Because mithya is leaning on Sat. It cannot stand straight. It has to lean on Sat. And when you see this leaning thing, you know that it is, what is that? It is Sat alone. Mithya is non-separate from Sat. And as though projection of Sat is what we call mithya. So mithya is non-separate from Sat. First definition, adhishthana ananyat. Sat is not mithya. Mithya is Sat. Sat is Sat. Mithya is Sat. Then what is the second definition? Sat asadbhyam anirvachya. Anirvachya means you cannot say it exists. And you cannot say it does not exist. That's why mithya takes you for a ride. Because it's right, you cannot say categorically, this is what mithya is. 5 elements, do they exist or not? Yes, but, you see, what is but? It's all come from Atma. Tasmadva etasmad atmana akasha sambhutah. It's written, the writing is very clear in the Upanishad. From this Atma alone, Akasha has come. If Akasha, space has come, then everything also has come. It's just the beginning. And so, yes, mithya is, you can say, Akasha exists, but body exists, but. So in mithya, whenever you say mithya, a thing called mithya exists, or something that is termed to have the reality called mithya exists, there is always ... after it. Exists, but for how long? It is time bound, space bound. So it is as good as non-existent. But it's in between existence and non-existence. Body exists, but by the time you finish saying body exists, it has already aged a little bit. Mind exists, but what do we say about the mind? Never mind. And senses exist, but again, after a certain age, all kinds of aids are needed. Upanetram, glasses, hearing aids, this aid, that aid, everything. And then also, with great difficulty, one is able to interact. This is a natural way of Bhagavan giving vairagya in the older years. You can't see, don't see. Simple. You can't hear, stop talking. Simple. Instead of going, what did you say? Don't talk. Simple. You can't taste, don't eat. Eat very little. Eat enough to just make the body keep going. Otherwise, what happens? That the jarayanti tejaha, the sharpness of the sense organs keep going down, but the desire for them keep going up. Like what is that? Bhaja Govindam says. Angam galitam, palitam mundam, dashana vihinam jatam tundam, vriddho yati grihitva dandam, tadapina munchati asha pindam. Pinda means mass. The mass of desires. Big bag, sack of desires. Does not go. Angam galitam. All the bones have osteoporosis. They are as good as melted. And the head at best is a mirror for other people. Okay, no hair. All right. And then the jaws are free of anything called teeth. No teeth. And then the elderly one goes 3-legged with a stick in hand. 2 legs plus the 3rd leg is a little stick. Walking stick, cane. And then what? Still is bent over like this. Oh, because of old age? No, because they are carrying a rucksack of desires. Completely bent over because of that, slowly making the way. And so, this way, all the mithya things come and go. And each time it comes, it's dependent on Sat. That's what it is. And it resolves into Sat. So, Sat, Sad, Asadbhyam, Anirvachaniya or Anirvachya. means it cannot be categorically said to be Sat or Asat. So these are the three orders of reality. We have three words describing reality, and one is Sat, existence. That which we saw is Trikale Pitishtati and Abadhitam. We saw these two definitions. The other one is Asat, totally non-existent. Like what? Horns of a rabbit. Shashashringa, stock example. Horns of a rabbit, non-existent. A square-shaped circle, non-existent. Can't even draw it. So, these are all totally non-existent. Then, where is mithya? In between the two is mithya. Mithya is not an object. It's a reality statement about the nature of the object. In between existence and non-existence is mithya, like even a pot. You cannot call a pot non-existent. Because why? You are holding it in your hand, it is available for sight, you can smell it, it has a kind of a earthen smell. All this is there. You cannot say it doesn't exist, but then you cannot say it exists apart from its source, which is clay. This is exactly the nature of mithya. So now, here this is lifted from another verse. Same thing. The first line is totally lifted. This is the fun part about becoming a Vedanta author. You don't have to have any original idea, no pressure. And you don't have to scratch your head about copyright and bibliography, nothing. You just read whatever you like and you take whatever you like and reproduce it. Simple. Because nothing is original anyway. And this is what the author has done, and you don't feel bad at all, because anything, whatever you repeat is what that Guru has taught. You are plagiarizing the Guru, and the Guru also plagiarized his Guru, who plagiarized her Guru, who plagiarized his Guru. So we come from a proud culture of plagiarism. So much so that if anybody says, I got this knowledge apne aap, by myself, then we tell them, keep the knowledge to yourself and enjoy it, we don't want it. We are used to copycat stuff. We feel safe. We feel safe because it's what has made our gurus enlightened. It's what has made our gurus drop samsara. Therefore, that is why the plagiarism is happily encouraged. Because it's all come from Bhagavan. And anything that you can say, you'll be tired of copywriting Bhagavan all the time. And so you just dispense with it altogether and just say a prayer in the beginning of the work. And then copy from Upanishad, copy from Bhagavad Gita, and copy from whatever you want. Put it in your own words. And here, only the second line he has put in his own words. Okay? The original verse reads like this. Brahma satyam jagan mithya, jivo brahmaiva na paraha, ardhashlokena pravakshyami yaduktam grantha koti bhihi. Yaduktam, that which has been said in thousands and thousands of granthas, manuscripts, wonderful works of Vedanta. This author says, not this author, but the other author says that I will tell you in half a shloka what has been said by thousands and thousands of manuscripts. What is half a shloka? 8 syllables. What is that? Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Did it? Half a shloka. No, then 16 syllables. Jivo Brahmaiva na aparaha. So, Brahman alone is Sat. Brahma Satyam doesn't mean out of all the Sat things in the world, Brahman is one of them. No. Brahma eva Sat. Brahma eva Satyam. Brahman alone is Satyam. And then what else is there? Jagat. What is Jagat? Mithya. Mithya doesn't mean false, doesn't mean illusion, doesn't mean delusion. To think that mithya means illusion is in fact the only illusion here. No illusion. Mithya means dependent reality. So Jagat is a dependent reality. Jagat mithya. And what is the Jiva? Brahma. Jiva is not mithya. Jiva lives in the mithya upadhi called body, mind, sense complex, and identifying with it cries and becomes Jiva. But that which is called Jiva is Brahmatma alone. So when we talk of the word Jiva, that means associated, the ahankara associated with this body, mind, sense complex that has not studied Vedanta. When we say Atma, then we refer to that which has the person who has studied Vedanta, like that. That's the only thing. Jiva, the word Jiva is used to refer to a person who has the as though covering of Atma Ajnanam, Jiva. Okay? And so then what happens? So Jivo Brahmaiva na aparaha. Jiva is Brahman alone, na aparaha. There is no other reality. Jiva is nothing other than Brahman. And here in the second line something different is given. And then Jivan Muktaha tu. So the Jiva doesn't remain Jiva for very long. Why? Because as soon as the first line is internalized, the person becomes free. So this is a Mahavakya. Jiva is Brahman is a Mahavakya. The Mahavakya alone is the one that gives Jivan Mukti. The internalization of this understanding gives Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means free while alive. Oh, but I want to become one with the whole. Doesn't mean that you have to drop the body in order to know this. Then we would have a problem. Many problems. First problem, nobody will come to Vedanta. Because as soon as they know, gone. It's hazardous to health. Vedanta should come with a black box warning like certain drugs. Beware. Don't take this. Take this as at your own risk. Okay? Then, even before that problem, the other problem is, where are the teachers? Where are the jnanis who know? Gone. Not there. So the one who says, I am a teacher of Vedanta is what? Ajnani. Then why would I want to study from Ajnanis? See, so many problems come. That's why, thank God, that the life doesn't come to an end. So from the standpoint of the onlookers, at least the prarabdha seems to go along, even though the jnani does not associate it with, is not associating himself, herself with the prarabdha karma. Okay? And so, this is called Jivan Mukta. The one who knows, I am Brahman while living, while in this life, is called Jivan Mukta. When this body is dropped, then, so the Jivan Mukti it is called, then when the body is dropped, one does not come back, and that is called Videha Mukti. Videha, separating from the Deha, that is a Mukti in the sense, Mukti iva Mukti, Mukti riva Mukti. It's almost a Mukti because it's only from the standpoint of the onlookers, the person says, they say the person is free of the body. The person never felt tied down to the body to begin with. So then, that is the Videha Mukti. There is also one more kind of Mukti called Krama Mukti, gradual Mukti. And then what is this gradual Mukti? Half of the life, you keep feeding the fire with ghee and do various kinds of rituals. And so much so that you have repetitive stress injury in one hand, keeping on pouring the ghee. Okay? And then what? What do I do? The other half of the life I relax? No. You do intense meditation. Various upasanas are prescribed in the pages of the Upanishads. You pick them and do them alongside the ritual. Then if, okay, big if everything goes right, if you haven't cheated, if you have not pretended to meditate when you were really actually sleeping, all this, okay, then you will go to a place called Brahmaloka. Having gone there, you will sit in front of Lord Brahmaji, who is teaching Vedanta Dindima, okay? Who happens to have picked up that text. This is called poetic justice. And then immediately you think it was so much nicer in AVG. I was fed several times a day and I didn't have to do yajna unless I wanted to. And I didn't have to do anything. I was so happy in AVG. And I was just getting this knowledge just like that. So then you go to Brahmaji, you study Vedanta Dindima, and when you come to this verse, what number is this verse? Yeah, so when you come to the 67th verse, you finally understand, and then you don't need to come back. Brahmaji looks in your answer book, okay, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, okay, pass. You pass the test. Because even from Brahmaloka you come back. This is what the 8th chapter says. A Brahma Bhuvanal Lokat Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanmana Vidyate. So the Punarjanma is there even up to this Ang. Ang is a, what is that called? Prefix. Ang. Abhividhau and Ang Maryada Vachanam. Maryada Vachanam means the prefix has a sense of up to and including. If you say up to Brahmaloka, okay, that means Brahmaloka is free of this. No, including Brahmaloka. Because in the finally, Lord Brahmaji will give a test, a quiz. Not like our quizzes, okay? Yeah, it's actual test. And there if you by mistake write, Jagat Satyam Brahma Mithya, big F will come. And then down the chute to Lord Yama's warehouse. That's why it's called warehouse. You don't know where you will land up in the next life. And Lord Yama operates a nice assembly line where puts all the jivas. This one, human life. Oh, this one really wants to be something else, because those kinds of desires can only be fulfilled in this particular body. Oh, what particular body is this jiva going to have? This jiva was never good at minding its own business in the last life. Always wondering, what is this one doing? How is their life? What's happening? Oh, they got married. Oh, they got divorced. Oh, why? What happened? Who is this? Next life, ferret. Okay? Because only through ferret janma, this kind of vasanas can be expressed. Keeps burrowing everywhere. Yeah. Looks nice, that's all. Looks very furry and wonderful, soft. This is what it is. So after all this trouble of going to Brahmaloka, what did you get? Nothing. So, therefore, the Jivan Mukta, one can be a Jivan Mukta right here, right now. All it takes is a committed study, nothing more. That's all it takes. No yajnas, no kinds of japas, nothing can help. All of them help only if it is backed by study. So Jivan Muktahatu tad vidvan, the person becomes vidvan, a knowledgeable person. And even though they may never have gone to school, this knowledge is as good as knowing everything. Okay, so then Okay, now I know this, let's say, but then what do I do with the Jagat? How does the person of knowledge, how should we deal with the Jagat? This is to understand this, we'll be studying a few verses. 70. Namarupatmakam Vishwam Indrajalam Vidurbudhaha Anatmatvad Ayuktatvad Namarupatmakam Vishwam. Vishwam itself is a nice clue to the meaning of the word, meaning of this verse. Vividha pratyaya gamyam. That which is understood through many and varied cognitions is called Vishwam. Because what is the Jagat? It's just cognition. And that cognition is. And that is non-separate from I. Flower is, tree is, building is, door is, window is, temple is. The is cognition is non-separate from the cognizer, who is what? I. So the whole Jagat is as good as what is cognized. All Jagat is cognized because the whole Jagat, all the things in the Jagat are incapable of declaring themselves. Like you say, I am. All the things, the grass cannot say, I am. The flower cannot say, I am. That's why it's a dependent reality. It depends on you for its very being. Without you, it doesn't have a being. Which leads us to the Zen kovan. What is that? If a big tree, a redwood tree, falls in the forest, will it make a sound? Yes? Okay. So, let's say yes. Let's examine both of them. Maybe some people thought no, but were kind of not very confident because everybody else was saying yes. So they didn't want me to say, see me after class. So they did not say no. Let's say one. Let's say there is pakshadvayam. Two kinds of sides are there. Yes. Yes, meaning this is the scientist's view. Of course, this is the volume of the tree. It occupies this much space and it is falling, the top of the tree is this many meters away from the ground and it is falling at this particular velocity. And then there will be other things in the way, and this is of course it will make a sound, and they can even predict how many decibels of sound it will be. You take the same question to a Vedantin, they will just ask another question. Is a sound without a pair of ears? Can a sound be called a sound? Is it sound to say it is a sound? No. Sound depends on me. Me means the ears. The ears don't hear. I, who is behind the ears, shrotrasya shrotram, chakshushash chakshuhu. The eye of the eye, so to speak, the ear of the ear is what hears. It is again that consciousness that is as though morphed into the organ of hearing that goes out and picks up the sound and brings it back as a pratiti. Cognition. The whole world is a series of cognitions. Everything is cognition, cognition, cognition. That's why it is called Vishwam. The whole entire world is dependent on me alone. What about me? Who shall I ask if I exist? No one. No one. Why? Self-existent. There are two kinds of things in the world. In terms of how they come to be known. One is called Pramana Siddha. Pramana Siddha means established by a means of knowledge. And the other is called Svatasiddha, self-established, self-existent. Of these two, the established by a means of knowledge and self-existent, I am the only thing in the universe that is self-existent. Everything else is Pramana Siddha, Pramana Siddha. Nothing else is Svatasiddha. So this much if it is understood, we can go one more step and say that which is Pramana Siddha definitely, always, without an exception, has to depend on that which is Svatasiddha. That which is established by a means of knowledge is, by definition, dependent upon the operator of the means of knowledge. Without the person operating the means of knowledge, the object of that knowledge will not shine. There is nothing there without the person who is self-lit, self-evident. So, Pramana Siddha relies on Svatasiddha. Svatasiddha does not rely on anything else. The whole thing that we call the universe of names and forms, Pramana Siddha, I, Svatasiddha. And so this is how one becomes a Vidwan, because everything is evident to me. And that which is evident to me is almost like saying, I am the Satta and the Spurti of everything. Because if something comes to light because of my presence, and by itself it cannot come to light, how can it have any power over me? How can something that by itself, which is non-existent, and itself it is non-evident, how can it have power over me, which is both self-existent and self-evident? It cannot have power over me. That includes sorrow, object of my observation. Sorrow is Svatasiddha or Pramana Siddha? Abba, okay. Pramana Siddha. It has to be established by a means of knowledge. Usually Sakshi Pratyaksha. Or you see yourself in the mirror, Pratyaksha also. Oh, I must be sad. Or there is some sadness in the mind. I am pulling a long face. But usually the mind, etc., is seen through that what is called witness perception. So through this Sakshi Pratyaksha, then you see, oh, there is anger happening, there is sorrow happening, there is fear happening. But a non-existent sorrow, and it is really a non-existent sorrow because it has nothing to do with you. A non-existent sorrow which is dependent upon you to identify it, to name it. How can it affect? It's like your shadow cannot affect you. Just like that. If the shadow, you're walking by the river and the shadow falls on the water, will you ask for a towel to dry it off? No. Same thing. So so all the things do depend on me. My body depends on I, my mind depends on I, my senses depend on I, the emotions depend on I. And since all of them depend on I am the boss. In fact, I can make them go like that. In the light of this knowledge, they can scurry away like insects. When you put the light after coming home, all the cockroaches go and hide. And so this is a very important verse, 71 or whatever 71. Yeah. So then, next one, no, not 71, 70, yeah. 71 also we should study. Abheda darshanam mokshaha samsaro bheda darshanah sarva vedanta siddhanta. So what is samsara? Bheda darshanam. So first, you see, this is a beautiful work, because first the separation and then the transcendence. First the separation cognitively and then the transcendence. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. We have two terminologies, two things. I am not Mithya, I am Sat. The Jagat is Mithya. But what is Mithya? Sat. And here that is what is going to be pointed out. Abheda Darshanam is another word for moksha. Darshanam means vision. Abheda, no difference. Non-dual vision is moksha. Everything is non-separate from me alone. Everything is myself alone. Everything is non-separate from me alone. And then, what is samsara? Bheda darshanam. What do you want? And this is mine. You can't have it. All this is bheda darshana. Is a result of bheda darshana, and that is what gives pain. That is what gives sorrow. That is what gives a lot of heartache. Abheda darshanam moksha, bheda darshanam samsara. And then what else? We have studied a lot about this. We don't have to elaborate so much. So this is declared, means Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta. This is the truth of all the Vedantas, all the texts of Vedanta. Siddhanta means this is the conclusion. Siddhanta, conclusion. Purva Paksha, doubt. Siddhanta, conclusion. So this is the conclusion. The final conclusion is what? Abheda darshanam moksha, bheda darshanam samsara. Divisionless vision, a vision of no division, is moksha. And then a vision of division is samsara. This is the conclusion of all the texts of Vedanta. This is what the drum beats of Vedanta say. Then, next one, let's see which one we will do. $75. Dashamasya parijnane nayasosti yatha tatha swasya brahmatma vijnanah Vedanta is easy peasy. The next, that's the gist of the next, that's the translation of the next verse. You may say, oh my God, how to see the whole universe as myself? I don't think I can do it. You know, it's nice to attend retreats and it's nice to hear what the Vedanta scholars and teachers have all to say, but come on. Me? No. In this life? Nah. Not really. So, as a way of encouraging, the author in the 75th verse says that it is so easy. You don't have to do anything. So easy. How easy it is? Yatha, an example is given. In the example, you know, the Vedanta teaches, the writers get away with just poetry, leaving all the work to us. Okay? So, here the poetry, the beautiful poetry is dependent upon a very well-known story. What is the well-known story? There is a ashram, a Gurukula, where? By the waters, by the river. Gurukula is there by the rivers, and then brahmacharis are there. And then in the olden days, certain days were known as anadhyayana, no studies. And certain days based on the lunar calendar, like no moon day, amavasya, etc. One such day, the brahmacharis wanted to go and attend a village fair on the other side. Fair enough, they thought. And then they asked the permission of the teacher. Teacher said, no need to go. Why you want to go? No, we really, this is our day off. We want to go. Please, please, please. And one enterprising one appointed himself the monitor. He said, I will make sure to bring everybody back. And then 10 of them happily went. And boys being boys, they splashed each other in the boat and pushed each other off, and then climbed back in the boat, got onto the other side, had a gala time in the Mela. Mela, gala, see? Yeah. So they had a gala time, and then it was time to return, because then the boat would stop plying on the river. They had to cross the river. And then the monitor, who must not have been terribly bright, said, let me line, I am in charge. Okay, what do we want you to do? What should we do? Everybody stand in a line. I'm going to count to make sure. I have to tell the Guru, I have brought you all back safely. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? How is that possible? Where did he go? What did he do? And then the other one was jealous of this self-appointed, self-styled monitor. And he said, Cha, we knew you were a dumbo. You don't know how to do even the simplest thing. Get side. Shoo. And then I will count. He also made the same mistake. This Gurukula was not known for its mathematics. Okay? So, he also, what did he do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then by the time the monitor had broken into a sweat, a total sweat, horrible sweat, he was just sweating, he was just said, oh my God, I've had it. Guru is going to be angry, everybody is going to be upset, and nobody is going to, and my reputation is gone. And what happened to him? And various theories were floated. Remember when we were playing and pushing each other? He drowned in the river, said one. Ayyo, said the other. And terrible. Then the other one said he got lost in the fair. Somebody go look there. And like this, they looked everywhere. No 10th brahmachari. Not at all. Looked high, looked low. But then this was ancient India, sadhu, sadhavaha, everywhere they were, all the sadhus were there. And so one such holy person happened to pass by, and they caught hold of him and said, and in fact he himself asked, what is the matter? Why are you looking so distressed? We have lost an important member of our party. And also, as the time went by, they kept saying he was so intelligent. One time the Guru would say something, he would pick it up. Ayyo, he has gone, what a loss. And they were all standing there in a circle and crying. And naturally the sadhu said, what is wrong? Why are you crying? We have lost a very important member of our group. How many of you came? 10. And sadhu just counted with the eyes. He was from a different Gurukula, okay? And he said, I think I have a solution. Why don't you line up and I will count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How easy was it to get the 10th person back? Did they have to dredge the river? No. Did they have to go looking in the fair? No. Did they have to call 911 and report a missing person? No. Anayasena. Anayasena means without any effort at all. The missing person was what? The 10th person was the missing person. The person was missing himself, really. And that's what Atmajnanam is like, without which you miss yourself. That is what it is. And so, as easy as it was to find, quote unquote, the 10th fellow, that easy it is to find a self that has been lost in samsara. How is it lost in samsara? Through ajnanam. It has got lost in samsara through taking the upadhi to be real, to thinking of everything as separate from oneself. One counts all the things in the universe. This is a very nice example, actually. It is there in the Panchadashi. It has a abiding presence in the Panchadashi. So one counts everything in the universe. This many things, this many dollars in my bank account, this many things in my house, these many people who are on my side, etc., etc. What does one forget to count? Oneself. That's why it's such a nice example. And so, and here, as easy as it was to find who? The 10th man. Dashamaha, 10th man. Dashamasya, of the 10th man, parijnane, when that knowledge of the 10th man took place, when the 10th man was found, when the 10th one was found, na ayasaha asti yatha. Yatha dashamasya parijnane ayasaha nasti. Just like there is no effort, there is no exertion, neither exertion nor exhaustion in understanding the 10th one. Who was missing how? How were they missing? Due to ajnanam. That's the idea. So, dashamasya ajnana. First there was what? Dashamasya ajnana, which was replaced by dashamasya parijnana. Paritaha jnana means well ascertained knowledge. So in the beginning what was there? Ajnana. Of what? The 10th one. In this example, yatha. And then that 10th, the absence or the ajnana, it was not the absence of the 10th one. What was it? Ignorance of the 10th one. Was the 10th one really missing? No. Only as though missing because of ajnanam, ignorance. And in the knowing of the 10th one, there was no ayasa. No ayasa. Tatha swasya, in the same manner, swasya, of oneself. Brahmatma vijnanaha. In the same manner, na ayasaha asti, we have to supply. In the same manner, it is not at all taxing, it is not at all difficult to know oneself as Brahmatma, not a jiva. Jiva is rediscovering itself as Atma, which is Brahman. So, Brahmatma. Iti Vedanta Dindimaha. Then, next one. Upekshya upadhikan doshan grihyante vishaya yatha upekshya drishyam yad brahma upekshya means having ignored. having ignored, upekshya, aupadhikan. Aupadhikam means belonging to the upadhi. Aupadhikan, things belonging to the upadhi. Upadhi means the name and form in which something is there. Upekshya, aupadhikan, doshan. Doshan does not mean fallacies or faults. Here it means limitations. Ignoring, in other words, transcending what? The limitations belonging to the upadhi. We have seen in detail what upadhi is. Okay? So, ignoring, transcending the limitations belonging to the upadhi. Ignoring means recognizing that these limitations do not belong to the thing but to the upadhi. That is what is to be understood. So, ignoring or transcending the upadhi, then what does the person do? Recognize the nature of something. Where? It is not say, doesn't say here, we have to supply the example. Grihyante vishayaha yatha. Vishayaha grihyante. Like the world of bread. Okay? You recognize it in the form of chapati. Same thing. Atta. Chapati. Then you can say so many kinds of bread. Wheat bread, white bread, fruit and nut bread. What else? Sour bread. Huh? Sour bread. No, that doesn't sound right. Sourdough, yes. Okay, yeah. Madhyama pada lopa samasa, it would have become otherwise. Sourdough bread. And then what else? Banana bread. So many breads. But they are all breads. And even we have Indian varieties. Chapati is there. What else is there? Naan. Naan is there. And then what else? The hanky chapati. Rumali roti. Which you can fold like a hanky and keep in your pocket, supposedly. Okay? And very thin roti. All that you can see, you can transcend the form and see it is all made of wheat, gluten. Okay? Yeah. None of them, you can say, are free of gluten. Everything has wheat. Even pasta you can add here. Pizza you can add. Pasta you can add. And then you upekshya. Upekshya, not considering at all what? Aupadhikan. Aupadhikan means belonging to the upadhi. What? Bhedaha. Bhedan. So all the differences belonging to the upadhi. The chapati looks a certain way. Bread looks a certain way. That has to be sliced. You cannot slice a chapati, okay? And it's already sliced. And then, so this way, even though they look very different, you can transcend. The person who is wheat gyaha, the knower of wheat, transcends the chapati, transcends the pasta, transcends the bread, and says all this has come, all this belongs not to the shape and the form, but to the wheat itself. Same thing we can do with pot and clay. Various pots, the world of earthenware and clay. Same thing we can do to ornament and gold. So many ornaments, and how many gold? 1 gold. Same thing we can do to things made of sugar. And so you just have to have a drishti of a diabetic. Yeah, the diabetic is a jnani here, sugar jnani, because they have to avoid that. So they will look at balu shahi, they will look at jalebis, they will look at all the things. What else are there? They will look at kheer. Huh? Gulab jamuns, how can we forget that? They will look at gulab jamun. they will look at all of that and say, sugar. They will only see sugar in big block letters. No matter in which shape it comes, they have a sensitivity to recognizing sugar because they have to avoid it. And so in that way, same thing now you expand to all the things in the universe. Just like a sugar jnani, a diabetic is very, very clear about recognizing sugar. Similarly, a Brahma jnani, in and through all the upadhis, shapes, names, forms, in-laws, outlaws, bugs and bugging people, all these things included, recognizes Brahman. Upadhi on the side, Brahman front and center, recognizes Brahman how? As myself alone. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.